you. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. This is such an honor to be here. Oh, my God. That's so nice. And by the way, what a nice introduction. It's like, I feel successful. Thank you.
As you should, because, okay, so you might be like the female version of the man I've dreamt about my whole life. I love a comedian. I love someone who's a prolific writer. How do you manage the process of retaining, capturing, noticing, and then putting it out into these projects of yours?
That must be the most lyrical description of the most unglamorous group of people in the world, writers. So
I know.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, when people talk about comedians and writers, they usually think of like unfashionable slobs. So like on behalf of all writers, like thank you for saying that.
And some of them are, like
Most of them are.
You know, some writers' rooms are not like always the sexiest group of people, and yet I think they are. Like all of the crushes I've ever had are basically like funny talk show writerly comedian men.
How has that gone for you, would you say? Just curious.
I've been single for 7 years.
As have I. So we know not to go down that path. But
although I was on a date once, ironically, and BJ Novak sat down, and I remember thinking, oh, I wish I was on a date with him. He's so attractive. Why is he not with Mindy Kaling? I want to be with Mindy Kaling. Why are they not together?
Wait, couple things. Your first reaction was, wow, he's so attractive. He's going to be so excited about that.
But I think I dream of you being like the ultimate couple because you seem like best friends and you're just both so wonderful.
He is a wonderful friend and he's the godparent of both my kids. And he loves children and they're so attached to him. He's really part of our family. But we've known each other for a long, long time. And I think anyone who's been friends with someone for 18, 19 years and at one point dated and now doesn't, like they maybe understand this. I mean, you have exes that you wouldn't necessarily marry now, right?
I actually have finally finished with all my exes. I now know the book is closed on all of them.
Yeah.
And I think I've closed the book with a lot of them on this show.
Wait, am I going to get confronted here?
No, okay, I swear to God.
But thank you for saying that. And about the writing, I mean, I don't know, like I'm just a real homebody. I stay at my home, I do all my writing in my bed. And it's such a nice, I spent so much time in front of the camera, as much you might know, and that's really wonderful, but has its challenges.
I do like being behind the scenes. And I love doing things in my own clothes with no hair and makeup. I really love that part of it. When it's time to get in front of the camera, ironically, it becomes less and less comfortable. I'm much more happy in like a scrunchie in my sweatpants.
Yes, if we were both in our sweatpants and scrunchies right now.
We could be in our sweatpants and scrunchies
It might be a little bit less fun for the audience and the audience at home, but
it is fun to dress up and play the part. But like, how do you, I wonder, because again, I'm so in love with you and I sort of wish we could be a couple. When you're looking around in life, do you see someone say something and think that would make a great piece of dialogue? Or do you come up with the dialogue on your own? Like, how do you do it all?
So that's a great question about where inspiration comes from. And I think where my inspiration comes from, I mean, when I was on The Office, it was so much about people you see in line at the DMV and like any kind of like Larry David-y bureaucratic interactions you have with people. And that would go into the show. Like, what would Michael Scott do? What would someone who, like Dwight, who was obsessed with rules, like what would they do? Mm-hmm. But on my shows now, Never Have I Ever and The Sex Lives of College Girls.
My favorite. You know, they all came here. I'm obsessed.
They were so cute on the show. Thank you for having them. They had such a good time. Thank you. That was like, I loved watching that.
I love that show. I think also what you're writing is it's so universal. You know, there's a lack of an age, too, because you can... And I don't think that I believe in age. It's not the first thing I ask somebody because their life experiences could lead them to great maturity or immaturity. Mm-hmm. So the number's not going to totally reflect. And when you watch something, you know, of the younger characters or the college girls, I'm going to be 48. I am in. I am wrapped. You write so universally that like age or timing or place doesn't come into it. It's more about what human beings go through.
That's so kind. I mean, I have to give so much of the credit. My co-creator, Justin Noble, and my other co-creator, Lang Fisher, we really made an effort to fill our writing stops with like young people, young women who are close to the age of the characters in the show. And like even my assistant, Kate, it's like when I'm writing dialogue, I'm just like hearing how she talks and then just being like, okay, this is how the character would talk, not like a boomer like me. So I think paying attention to like actually people who are close to that age. I don't know. I came up in this age where, do you know those people when you're like getting, I don't know, when you were young, the older people who are like, young people are this and that, and they're so entitled and everything. And I have to check myself, because I'm 43, to not be that way and to really listen to young people. Mm-hmm. And by the way, sometimes I do want to be like, shut up, you're so annoying. You're so annoying and entitled. But what I've learned is that they're just such a font of knowledge, and they're all such young activists, and I really am inspired by them all the time, and they drive me crazy. And it's like, for the past couple of years, working with them has been like hugely informative and good for having a daughter, I think.
And I've met your daughter,
yes.
Kit, and I just love her.
She loved your house.
Our daughters have played together,
yes.
Kit and Olive and Frankie, due to our mutual friend.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm one step closer to Mindy. I've got her daughter in my house, which sounds so creepy, but I just think that you have put so many wonderful things into the world. I think that you have this brand that is funny and whimsical and charming. It's true to the way we feel, our awkwardnesses, our triumphs, our vulnerabilities. Oh my
God, but Drew, like you've been like I said, a movie that I watched when I was in college. We all went to the theater to go see Charlie's Angels. And I know that you've produced so many movies, you've directed so many things. And it's like, to make the transition from actor to director and producer is tough, especially we're not talking about 3 years ago. We're talking about, 15, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And seeing things like that and see people can be multi-hyphenates, they give people like me courage that I can do the same thing.
All I want to do is be with you.
Charlie's Angels 4? Charlie's Angels 5? I don't know what number. We're in 3? Okay. Listen, I could get a trainer.
We need to talk. I would love to hear like what you think our Charlie's Angels 3 would be, and then like go make it happen.
What a dream.
I mean, okay.
That would be
anyway,
my dream.
I'm like, let's call Cameron and Lucy and make this happen. All right, you've got another incredible project that I want to talk about, Mindy's Book Studio, and the very first book that you've selected to bring here today also is The Vibrant Years.
Such a good book. Yes, I would love to tell you about this. So I was raised on books. My parents were immigrants, so we didn't I was a latchkey kid. They both worked. And so I was just raised reading books alone in my room, and wasn't allowed to watch a lot of TV when I was really little. And so they became so important to me. And later, as I started writing my own books, I've written 3 books. I know you've written books. So it's such a great way. I'm a really social person. I love being around people, but I really do love writing and this medium that I want to learn so much about. In fiction in particular, I really put on a pedestal. I think if you can write fiction, if you can write a novel, your brain is just on another level. And so the mission of Mindy's Book Studio, which is an imprint of Amazon Publishing, I'm so lucky to be working with them because of their reach.
I was going to say that will reach people.
I know, it's so incredible. Is really simple. It's just to give a platform to female writers that are underrepresented, some who are more established, some that are emerging. And the first book is this amazing book, The Vibrant Years, by Sonali Dev.
And Sonali Dev, I am honored to say, is the beautiful woman who is sitting right here in our audience. Thank you so much for coming here today. May I ask, what the process was for you writing the book, getting together with Mindy? How has it been?
I have to start with saying I tell all my friends that I've just had a baby with Mindy Kaling. That's what I like to tell my friends.
Understood. A book baby. Got it.
I'm in relationships with a lot of women.
Well, this is promising for me then. Good.
That's her superpower. But this was everything I've ever wanted to say about being a woman. And the main protagonist is a 65-year-old hot grandma. And so I think this idea that women become less as they age is so flawed and wrong, and that's what we see in fiction and we see in the media, but we really become more, and I kind of wanted to talk about that, but it is basically 3 generations of Indian American women on the modern dating scene together.
Well, I cannot wait to read it, and I love that that's what you say, because you're so right. The Vibrant Years is available now, and We have to cut to a quick commercial break. I don't want to. We're going to get into red flag, yellow flag, green flag. I want to know everything you think about dating. All right? After the break. We'll be right back.